sees the memes of production, and the like and subscribe button. We're finally starting to get some right-wing capitulation over to Zohran Mamdani. Unfortunately, it's because the two people doing the capitulating are massive anti-Semites. So, you know, you have to take the good with the bad. You have to take the bad with the good, okay? No, I saw a clip of this, and they're being rather conciliatory. Just, well, maybe not conciliatory. They're being a little... They don't like AIPAC.
A second ago that when people are really frustrated when the system they live under fails them, they listen to voices that they shouldn't listen to or wouldn't listen to under any other circumstance. Like, how did Al Sharpton get to be the leader of Black America or whatever? I mean, it's like it's a thing. Desperate people tend to go to crappy leaders, I think. And I just can't get over what happened in our biggest city this week, the very same week that everybody in D.C. is focused thousands of miles away on the greatest threat we face, Iran's nuclear program. I don't want Iran to have the bomb. I'm not pro-Iran, obviously.
We're not pro-Iran.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to say it?
No,
but
right.
We do.
It's
yeah,
dumb.
There's the
But
disclaimer.
at the same time that everybody was looking to Iran, our largest city had a Democratic primary, effectively the mayor's race, and like 32-year-old socialist who wants government-run grocery stores gets elected. He's going to likely run our biggest city.
Yeah. And
in the country.
Right. New York.
And it's like, why?
Oh. Tucker Carlson's training as a Fox News host probably comes in handy here, because I feel like otherwise the contempt that he has for talking to somebody this much less intelligent than him has to seep through, right? Like, Tucker Carlson is not stupid. He's just an evil, evil liar. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's one of the only Republican reps who's taken no AIPAC money. You know that? She actually is anti-Semitic. Like, I know the Jewish space lasers thing is like a meme, but like, if you're a Republican congresswoman and you haven't taken money from AIPAC, that is probably because you're anti-Semitic. Yeah, there's no, like, that's free money otherwise. It's crazy.
Why did that happen? Is it because people are so like desperate for government-run grocery stores, or love socialism, or love like foreign-born midwits running their cities? Probably not. That guy was the only person in the New York City mayor's debate to say he wanted to focus on New York City. All the candidates were asked, if you could visit a foreign country, what would it be? And they all, of course, all had an answer. I think most said Israel. Great. And he said, I wouldn't go anywhere. I'd stay in New York. And like, if I want to meet Jewish constituents, I'd go to their synagogues, their homes, or whatever. But I'd be here in New York because that's what I'm doing. I'm running New York. That's my job.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I've said in a YouTube...
That was so funny, dude, when he answered the question directly, and the interviewer, obviously the point of this question was to get every candidate to say Israel except for Mamdani, so he could then be questioned on that. But like, he just like the artifice, or the lack of artifice, I guess, of just going like, well, okay, what about Israel, huh? You gonna visit Israel, huh?
JA questionnaire that I believe that you need not travel to Israel to stand up for Jewish New Yorkers. And that is what I will be doing as the mayor. I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples, or at their homes, or at the subway platform.
Well, he gave the right answer.
He gave the right answer. He gave the right answer, at least. And he's talking, I totally oppose his program. Just
Absolutely.
To be clear. I don't think it works, but he's talking about economics.
Yep.
And everyone else is talking about foreign policy.
Remember I said Charlie Kirk must be frustrated that he's a Nazi, but he has to do like Nazism for Israel. I wonder if like that, this is part of that schism, you know? It's like, as Israel becomes more and more of an optical black hole for every American, right? Because it's not just Democrats who've been polarized against Israel. Trump himself has, you know? Republicans have as well, to an extent, to a lesser extent, but they'll follow along. If Trump ever said we're done with Israel, the support for it would plummet by 50 points within the Republicans. They are in a cult, after all. As time goes on, like, that's going to give people kind of like moral permission on the right to, you know, break with the Nazism for Israel bit and just do like regular old Nazism, which is what Tucker Carlson's been pushing in the direction of for some time. Marjorie Taylor Greene, too, who I also consider to be one of those people who's too stupid to lie. Like, I do think that Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of always thinks that she's Did you see her banging the gavel? Did you see her banging the gavel at that here? Hold on, I have to. She's so funny, dude.
I yield back.
The gentleman yields. No one loves veterans more than President Trump, and he's made that apparent. That's why he's working for peace
Madam Chair,
right now.
it's not your time. Right now.
I'm the chair of this committee.
That's not how
I'm the chair.
parliamentary procedure works.
You're not
Madam
recognized, Ms.
Chairwoman.
Stanbury.
You're not recognized either. You can't just speak anytime you want.
I'm the chair of this committee.
That's not how it
Ms.
works.
Stansbury, you're not recognized.
Madam Chairwoman, that is not how You
Ms.
can
Stansbury, you're
smash
not
your gavel
recognized.
all day, but that's not how
Ms. Stansbury, you're not
parliamentarians-
recognized.
We're going to get you a Robert's
Ms.
Rules of
Stansbury,
Order
you're
and
not-
the committee-
Point of
Ms.
order.
Stansbury, you're not
so
recognized.
that you
Point of
can
order.
Understand parliamentary procedure.
Point of order.
Okay.
Point of order.
All right, Madam Chair, calm down. Let's move on.
Ms. Stansbury, you're not recognized.
She's so funny, dude. The dog, look at my imperial core. look at my den of capital. Look at my dragon's horde. You know what's going on in the capital.
Point of order.
Madam Chair, I've got oh, I'm sorry, you had a point of order.
So,
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, can we decide who's going to speak first and we don't?
Absolutely. I'm the chair of this committee, and Mr.
I know
Gill,
that,
Mr.
but-
Gill from Texas is
you go.
recognized.
Just
Why is it hard to talk about economics, domestic economics?
I don't know. Apparently, they don't know how to fix it. Well, look who he was running against. He's looking. I mean, the failed mayor, Andrew Cuomo. Look at him. He
Governor,
was
yeah.
governor. Yeah.
honest mistake could happen to anyone.
Discussing all types of accusations.
Yeah.
So he was seen as the dirty establishment
Right.
Democrat,
The
right?
machine politician.
Right, right. That really never solved anyone's problems. They already had him, and they still have the same problems.
Right.
They're still poor. They can't afford life. They can't afford to move up in the world.
Exactly.
And so they looked at Andrew Cuomo and was like, why am I going to vote for him? He's not going to make my life better.
No, it's
And
totally
so they
right.
look at this man who's been in our country for what, 6 years?
Yeah.
6 years. So he's foreign born. He's a
No, he wouldn't be a citizen if he was only in the country for 6 years. It's been he's 33, yeah, and he moved here when he was 7, so 26? Yeah.
socialist, and he's promising to empty the prisons and do all kinds of crazy things.
No, I don't think he said that.
And he's talking to them on their level and talking about the problems they are facing, relating to them with the problems they're facing. So these young people have no choice but to turn to this.
I agree.
And it is a failure. It is literally a failure of the Republican Party. I think the Republican Party has completely failed, and it makes me so angry, Tucker. And I can't, I'm not supposed to speak out, right? I'm not supposed to have my own opinion. I'm supposed to just have blind allegiance to my party, and I'm supposed to cheerlead and rah rah rah. But that's not why.
But you do. You're like the most cheerleader for Trump. There's no doubt, though, that a ton of people have had background conversations with MTG where they're like, shut the f up. Please shut the f up. Like, I know every Republican on Cap Hill is a wealthy VC or whatever, but it's got to be grating to be a 65-year-old stately, and then you have to share a seat next to this woman. You know what I mean? Like your personal style of making the country worse is genteel and educated, and then you've got this thing. Like, it's got to piss them off a little bit, right? Oh wait, she might not even be she might not fit in with the Washington crowd at all.
Why I ran. That's not why I ran for Congress in the first place. I literally ran because I was mad at Republicans.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still mad at Republicans because it is affecting our children's lives and future. And it's our job to hold our elected leaders accountable. It's my job to hold my colleagues accountable. And if we don't fix these problems to the point where young people are turning to crazy socialists, it's going to get worse. It's literally going to get worse, and it'll be gone. I don't think we could ever get it back.
Well, it's just kind
Where
of.
was this before? Well, so this is an unsolvable problem, right? Because Marjorie Taylor Greene is a right-wing populist, or in other words, not a populist at all. But this is the closest they can get. Same as people like Tucker. You can talk all you want about wanting to discuss domestic economics and improve the lives of everyday people, but that's not how you do your thing. You do your thing by being extremely racist. That's not it's Tucker Carlson. If there was a market for appealing to right-wingers by talking about economics and improving people's lives with domestic policy, you would have already filled it. There isn't a market for that. You win over that community by being very racist and by being hateful and conspiratorial. You know that, which is why you both do that. Like, you can't do what Mamdani does. It's the same reason neoliberals can't capture Mamdani's energy without his policies. You can't have the energy of a bombastic, upbeat, enthusiastic, anti-establishment campaign that's going to really dig down to fix the issues when your actual policies are, like, respectively, inane neoliberal wonkery or white ethno-states. It doesn't work. You kind of need that. No one else can really steal that sauce.
Kind of weird because Fox News tells us that the real threats are abroad or they're Iranian sleeper cells in the United States. It seems to me the real threat to the United States is the collapse of its cities, of its population centers where the most people live. I don't live in a city, don't want to live in a city because they suck.
Yeah.
Defining feature of conservative men is that they're gigantic pussies. Also, such a LARP, dude. Tucker Carlson is literally a dainty air boy. Like, he's literally like a father, can I join you at the country club today? Type kid who sat in the lap of power of billionaires for decades and only recently started LARPing as like a rural woodworker, you know? Like, he is along with Jesse Waters, he is the most fake masculine person on the right by far. No one else even comes close.
But in a normal country, I would live in a city, and so would you.
Sure.
Of course. So I don't understand how if we spent the last 25 years fighting all these wars, obsessively focused on our enemies abroad, jihadis or whatever, they're telling us the threat is white supremacists under Biden. And the country has not gotten better.
No.
It's like maintaining the empire has destroyed the republic. It does feel that way. America has thousands of colleges and universities and a lot of
Twangy acoustic guitar in the background. Again, heir to the Swanson fortune. Yeah. Put the ad read in the bag.
economic ideactive in the world. You're afraid to preach this country better.
Oh my God,
by
it's
raising
so long.
well-educated students. Republicans refuse to talk about economics, like actual economics, not bullshit economics, GDP and tax cuts, but actually like, it's too expensive for my kids to buy a house. What are you doing about that?
Right.
And the answer is absolutely nothing other than yelling, you're a socialist. I'm not insecure about being a socialist. I don't really care what people call me, but that is a much bigger problem than anything Iran is cooking up in its centrifuges, as far as I'm concerned. Certainly a bigger problem for everyone I know. My kids can't buy a house. Therefore, they can't get married and have kids.
Right.
I think your kids can probably afford a house. I'm just going to guess. You're pretty wealthy. Did he say he was a socialist now? Guys, don't fall for this shit, okay? Nick Fuentes said that his favorite authoritarian leader was Joseph Stalin. The Nazis themselves cosplayed as socialists before they took power. Every fascist has this moment where they're like, holy shit, we're not going to get enough support from people unless we pretend we're socialist. Because we actually have no interest in fixing people's problems, you know? The red-brown, like, fake syncretic alliance, like, that goes back. That's as old as time, okay? That's an old one.
So think about this. Last week, our kids were just thinking about, I can't afford to buy a house. Where am I going to get a good job? All my friends can't find a good job. A lot of young women that are conservative are like, where am I going to find a good man? A lot of conservative young men are like, where can I find a decent young woman to marry? Because many of them are insane, have turned leftward, so far left.
Yeah.
So last week,
30 partners, which, sorry, people just aren't into it. You know, who's into that? It's
not I.
You're both like 60. Have you ever even opened a dating app? What are you talking about?
So there's all the, but think about it. Last week, they were thinking about all their other problems that they already have, but they weren't thinking about, do I have to worry about a attack happening here in the United States? Yeah. Fast forward to this week.
You might notice that they're talking a lot about how the GOP doesn't talk about real people's problems, and at no point during this are they going to talk about how to fix real people's problems. Because they're interested in the accolades of being the daredevils who will criticize the GOP for being part of the political machine, but they also don't care. So they're not going to talk about it, like, for real.
Now it's like, oh my gosh, not only is life unaffordable and all these unknowns and all these problems I have, and my credit card debt is, my credit cards are maxed out, and I can't go on vacation, and I want to go with my friends, and I want to go to this concert, but I can't afford it. But now they have to think about, oh, if I do go to that concert, there could be a terrorist attack because we bombed Iran. It's like a whole nother set of problems.
Yeah.
And so, of course, when this guy that's running for mayor of New York City, iconic New York City, is talking to New Yorkers, and he says on the debate stage, when he's asked, what foreign country do you want to go visit? And the rest of them are saying Israel. And he says, I don't want to go. I just want to stay here in New York. Of course, they're going to listen to him.
That's not something I expected them to explicitly say. Please don't fall for it. Marjorie Taylor Greene defended Trump's strikes in Iran. Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for the big, beautiful bill that's going to massively increase income inequality and over like 99% of Americans. Like, they don't care. They just like the little accolades and podcast attention they get from pretending they do. It's not like, it's just another aesthetic flourish, but fundamentally the ideology is still they want to rape kids and impoverish people. It's not novel.
Yeah, I listen to him, and I don't want to be mayor of New York at all. I think it's so important that someone responsible and reasonable and American runs New York. But I guess in general, I resent importing foreign conflicts into our country, ancient race hatreds, religious, ethnic.
Even when it's us bombing other countries, we're importing
hatreds. What does that have to do with us? And I feel like we've definitely wholesale imported that. I get texts all the time from, some people I like, but, Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi, telling me about some fight in US or Canada between different Muslim or Hindu groups. And I'm not against any of them. I like them all. I'm not.
Sure.
But what does that have to do with North America?
Nothing.
So why did we?
Well, they're in North America because Canada's in North America. So, yeah.
Other countries don't put up with that. You try that in the UAE.
Yeah.
This happened. You're some Pakistani worker building office buildings in the Gulf, and you have
the irony of people of European descent saying we don't want to import foreign conflicts. I just Googled Tucker Carlson ethnicity. English, Scottish, Irish, German, Italian, Swiss. So with the exception then of the Swiss, I suppose. Yeah, none of those groups came into America bringing any animosity against one another. Irish, English, Scottish. Jesus Christ. I'm sandwich race.
March through downtown Abu Dhabi saying, I'm mad at India. They're like, you're out on the first flight.
Right.
Back to Lahore.
Burning their flag.
Yeah, nothing personal.
Yeah. If you're out there burning their Indian flag, I'd love to see what happens to you. Yeah.
Well, the attitude of the Emirati government is that has nothing to do. Don't bring that here.
Right.
Even if we're on your side. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right. Yes. 100.
It's such a weird irony of in the same breath saying we're America. We don't want to deal with your foreign conflicts, but then also like drooling over the authoritarianism and lack of freedom of speech protections of a whole petro state.
100%.
Yeah.
But okay, so in Congress, we have, I think it's 32 members of Congress are foreign born, not born in the United States.
Really?
32. I serve with them. 32.
Well, I was surprised to learn that Ted Cruz is not American.
You seriously? You didn't find this out during the 2016 primary? Well, he is American, but you didn't find out all that during the 2016 Republican primary? All the business? Military base, Canada? Okay.
He's like a secret Canadian?
He's from Canada, not Texas.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Canada, does it border Texas?
I don't think so. Not on the map I saw.
Okay.
Fascinating stuff. Deport Ted Cruz? Well, I'm not saying it would be a bad idea. While Vaush, tensions between ethnic groups is pure American culture. Yeah, haven't you seen West Side Story? 30 years ago, the rhetoric was, in foreign land, shit is bad. You better be grateful you live in the U.S. Now it's in foreign land, shit is bad. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it's, well, again, there's no actual, like, vision for the future, right? If you talk to a person like Mamdani, you have everything. You have a solid ideology. You have an ideological founding that's rooted in like historical analysis, but contemporarily relevant, or contemporarily contemporary in its relevance, right? You have a desire to make the place better, right? You have plans to make the place better. You have like everything you need. But then when you look at stuff like this, what you're really getting is people who are feeding their audiences breadcrumbs, like in a fishbowl, you know? They're getting little parcels, little snippets. What if in this episode we acknowledge that the GOP isn't sincere when they say they want to improve the lives of Americans? Oh, that's genius. Okay, let's do that. Do you want to like talk about stuff that'll improve the lives of Americans? No, best we can do is glaze an Emirati slave state for deporting people for exercising their First Amendment rights, or what would be First Amendment rights over here in the States. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Tucker Carlson audience. You don't actually get a better world. You just get to like feel more smug than the GOP for not having a vision of the better world. You know, in a lot of ways, actually, there's a big similarity between people like Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes and the extreme Twitter lefties, in that there's a cynicism there, I think, that they are disinterested in meaningfully changing the world, but they are very interested in looking like and getting, you know, the accolades of someone who could change the world if only they were in the seat of power. But they're not, so they're just gonna sit, you know, they're just gonna sit in the sidelines and bicker and throw popcorn. It is very performative, yeah. Again, Marjorie Taylor Greene praised Trump's bombing of Iran. Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for the big, beautiful bill. Marjorie Taylor Greene has not been an impediment to any of the legislation that's gone through the GOP that has made the country more unequal, more unaffordable. She has never once, not once, meaningfully resisted it. Sometimes she'll kick up a fuss on Twitter, but she always falls in line, every single time. Same with Tucker Carlson. It's very convenient for Tucker Carlson to pretend that he's had this like paradigm shift since leaving Fox News, but he spent literal decades in the heart of the machine, doing and saying whatever he's told to by Murdoch, like with no limitations, no principles, no consideration whatsoever. And now he gets to pretend that he's this like, well, having seen how it works from the inside, I have to say I'm sick and tired of it. They don't actually care about people at all. Still kind of funny, though, that Mamdani's energy and charisma is such that people like this kind of have to try to borrow his credibility. You know what I mean? Yeah, that has the most views of any of the recent videos, it seems. There we go. The Iran bombing 6 days ago. That's how far back you have to go. This one's only 18 hours old. I think it means something. Better than disturbing details emerge about creepy Tim Walz's connection to China. Hold on a second. I thought Tucker Carlson was opposed to constant fear-mongering over foreign countries. The connection that Tim Walz had with China was like he briefly had a Chinese girlfriend or something while working overseas there. Are we gonna? So in this one, we're like, well, we're sick and tired of fear mongering over foreign countries rather than fixing local issues. And then in this one, it's he should be investigated. Yeah. Hey, out of curiosity, how far back do you think you would have to go to find a single video here that is talking about local economics and how the like common man is getting screwed over by the GOP or even just like the government in general? Let's try to see, okay? So Tucker Carlson seems very concerned by the fact that the GOP is obsessed with fear-mongering over foreign countries but won't talk local economics. He's fear-mongering over foreign countries plenty in these videos. So we might be here for a bit, huh? Anything at all? Oh, you're being lied to about the one big beautiful bill and the numbers prove it. Is that it? Did we find one? This might be one. A critique of the one big beautiful bill. Did you bring that up with Marjorie Taylor Greene out of curiosity? Yeah, I've made my point. I'm the only authentic YouTuber. Give me money. That's my point. Give me money. I want money. Yeah. Can we please watch the new Dem podcast? You mean the one that's not even breaking 1,000 views in every episode? The one that, hold on. The one that, and I'm saying this respectfully, looks like it's being hosted by somebody with cancer. Not that having cancer makes you a bad person. However, where's that video? Oh, here we go.
Mr. President, we call bullshit.
This is actually like incredible decor. This is everything wrong with the DNC's attempt to market itself in new media. Look at this. I vote for Democrats. You see what I mean by the cancer thing, right? I'm just saying, you get me. Okay, this might be like racist or homophobic of me, maybe both, but I feel like this phenotype of individual is overrepresented in young people working for. I feel like if I walked around West Hollywood and I found a white 20-something Zionist homosexual who was very annoying to the waiters and waitresses who served him, that guy would have, like, that's the guy that I'm thinking of. That's the guy that, like, the DNC is paying $300,000 a year to do a shitty podcast. You understand what I'm talking? Like, I there's a very specific kind of like safe progressive that we're willing to tap. I don't know. I'm very familiar with this kind of guy. I grew up right next to West Hollywood. He looks weirdly square. Well, he's cut, yeah. I mean, I don't know about down there, but I mean like body fat wise. Low-key looks like Vaush with no hair, lol. All right, monkey with a keyboard. That one's getting the monkey with a keyboard mute. You kidding me? I do appreciate the implication, however, that underneath the beard I am 10% body fat. That is very kind of you. Why does the host look like one of the guys in the new Mad Max? Can somebody find me this podcast? What's it called? It is really funny that in an era where people demand authenticity more and more from their new media, the Democrats would go with the most like transparently inauthentic representation of their party possible. Sterile millennial background, no personality whatsoever, the only decor being the safest possible pro-Democrat. Like Tucker Carlson's background doesn't look like this. No Republican's background looks like this. The Republicans' backgrounds when they do their podcasts and shows are usually like a cultivation of their specific interests and flavor and aesthetic, you know, like it's meant to be personalized to them because it speaks to that feeling of authenticity. Not this though. I sent this to you. That's great.